Three, two. What's going on? What's going on out there, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, aka Soul Brother Number One, reporting for duty. We have the sister Ras Mariah Bay in the building. Thank you for coming out this evening. Before we go into it, we got to run this commercial. I have to make sure this commercial is played at least twice in the podcast. Here we go.
Peace family. Welcome to NYP Talk Show. This is more than a podcast. It's a conscious platform rooted in truth and culture. From the 5% Nation, Nation of Islam, Moorish movement, and Masonry. Our mission is to reclaim our narrative and uplift the African diaspora with real stories and real conversations. Support us through super chats during live shows, donations on Cash App, GoFundMe, Patreon, or Buzzsprout, and by repping our official merch, available on our website and right here on YouTube's merch shelf. Every dollar, every super chat, every hoodie builds the movement. This is NYP Talk Show.
All right. We're back. The sister Ras Mariah Bay, the legendary. I like to call her the legendary. You know, we got to give our people their flowers while they're here. You know, that's for sure. She's been putting in work for so many years now. And like I said, she deserves her flowers. But we're talking about cosmology. First of all, astrology versus cosmology. Before we go into it, how you doing, sister?
I'm fine. I'm just fine. And I thank you for inviting me here. I'm honored to be here today. Thank you so much.
Honored to have you. All right. Now, before we go into my questions, we were discussing my chart in the beginning, and I like the way you broke it down. And so I don't mind people knowing my business in regards to my sign and all of that, right? Because some of you know I am a skeptic. We've been watching the show for however long you've been watching the show. Some of you know that I am a skeptic about astrology. So I want to hear the breakdown and learn today. So we spoke about my sign, right? And let's go into it. So I had my sun sign is Scorpio, right? Yeah. And then my rising is Libra, and my moon sign is Libra.
All right, look at that double Libra in there. Now, I don't have his chart in front of me. I wish I had, but I'm going from what he's telling me, and that he rises as a Libra, so that can set your houses in order, and that he is a Scorpio. So if he rises as a Libra, then Libra's in the first house at the time he was born. Thereby, Scorpio is obviously, because it stays in order, in the second house. And his midheaven is Cancer, and his nadir is Capricorn. So what you have, for all those out there that notice the wheel, he is absolutely reversed, because the first house is ruled by Aries, and the seventh house, you know, the polar reflection would be Libra, but he's reversed. So just reverse the chart from what he's telling me. Again, I haven't pulled it up, but even with that little bit right there. So first thing you look at is, I'm a Scorpio, which is water, right? And obviously in the second house, which is earth, Taurus's house. Then you look at your rising or your moon, because that's the real you. It's not the astrology side. That's the easiest thing they could put on display. That's the easiest thing they could sell as a commodity, or as whatever, you know, commercially. So that's why a lot of people, they just get to topical and think, oh, yeah, and become skeptical, right? So you really are a Libra. That's your moon sign. Your moon sign, that's your soul. Your soul is a Libra, expressing itself through the dictates of, or the characteristics of, a Scorpion. And then your rising being the Libra, right? All right. So you're presenting yourself through the characteristics of a Libra, uh,
Mhm.
which is what you say I'm sorry, you're expressing the dictates of your soul, which is a Libra, through the presentment of a Libra. So you got a double hit there. I myself personally have five. I have five signs in Libra. So how about five? Yeah,
Wow.
crazy, right? So, yes. So balance and all that is very important. But so you first thing that you would look at is that what is the element? See, we're talking about going to elementary school and we don't know anything about the elements, right? That's the first thing that you learn. A lot of people say, I just want to learn my sign. What's my sign? What does my sign mean? But it's a combination. So the element is for your sun is water, and the element for your moon self inside is air. So and so is your rising, which is communication waves. So you start thinking, well, how does air and water work together? Because
Mhm.
a lot of times the air brings breath or life to the water or the vegetation in the water, but then it becomes a fizzy, bubbly thing. So certain aspects you don't listen to yourself. It's you don't you don't take it your own advice. I'm not saying you don't, but whatever those aspects are in, it's like what is the elements. Now what that also means is that because water and air are interchangeable, then it's all good if you learn how to work with what's in front of you in terms of dealing with the air and the water.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing you look at is, all right, what modality is the scorpion? Fixed, meaning fixed, stagnated water, not moving. You feel everything. If there's a ripple in the water, the scorpion feels it. And then also the propensity to not want to change things, like they're good like they are. But now your other two signs, which is your soul sign, the Libra, and your presentment Libra, you're forced to be outgoing because Libra it's an air sign, but it's a cardinal sign, meaning that you're going to get stuff started. So that's what you deal with yourself is, you want to keep it like it is, but you want to get it started also, right? Because
Right.
that's what that energy does. And
Wow.
so that I just explained to you, if you're shaking your head like you can relate, correct?
Yeah.
What are we really talking? We're talking science. We're talking elements. We're talking cause and effect, not belief systems. See, if people actually were to deal with astrology as the science that they say it is, or cosmology, I'm going to give that in a second. We'll get there. Then they would understand why other forces to be don't want you to deal with it. One, if you want to talk about a study, it's infinite. If you want to talk about I can never complete this study because it's infinite, that's the science you would be into. Two, knowing astrology and the energies, or cosmology, astronomy, like, and astrology, knowing that and knowing what it does, it helps you first and foremost to know yourself. Because every discipline that ever exists says, man, know thyself. And then it says, oh, you're marked by, quote, God. Well, what's the mark? It's the energies of the cosmos. And then, we'll get more into that. But back to you. So you came from on your nadir, because that's all I can really see and from what I'm seeing now, you came from a place of discipline and order. So either your grandmother, your mother, your family, somewhere they were strict, or strict discipline, or strict order.
Yeah. Well, my it's so funny you're saying that. This is funny. This is really funny. You're getting me on this one. My grandfather, he was in the military.
All
Um,
right.
World War II. My grandmother, she was just super disciplined. She worked at I forgot where she worked, but downtown somewhere, and she was every Sunday. She was everything had to be right and exact, every single thing. Uh, um, and then I have family and law enforcement and all that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what did I just say? I said, your nadir, where you came from, was strict discipline and order. Not because Ras Mariah knows, it's because once you, me, or anyone understands what the energies are and how they work on that precious wheel that was left by our ancient ancestors, some call it a Dendara or whatever you want to call it, it's a teaching tool for the elements. And you can start out with the elements. Well, how does fire and air work? Oh, well, fire needs a certain amount of air to burn. Well, too much air will burn out of control. Yes, it's called moderation and balance, because everything needs moderation and balance in life, right? So now, what you are seeking, or what your generational baggage is, if that's what you want to call it, is that you become a little bit more or less stern, a little bit more nurturing or sensitive to others' feelings or others, only because
I'm not. Hey, whoa, hold up, time out. That was good. That was a good one right there. Okay. Nurturing, I am not. I'm terrible with that. I'm more like, we got to get this done. This is what it is. Let's go. I don't care. Cry, but get up and let's keep it moving. Like, so nurturing, I am not. I'm terrible.
Yes, that's the sternness and the discipline. So what you might want to say, all right, so now I don't know what your north and south node is, because what I just read to you is your generation, meaning your family, quote unquote, quote, what they want to call baggage, or what needs to be changed, or what you can this time break through and make change for, if it needed to be. So I'm only looking at your 4 cardinal points. And from what you just told me, I don't know where your south node is. That I have to punch it up, and I didn't do that because listen, guy, he didn't tell me until I came on the preview, and then he reminded me that years and years ago, back when we were at New York, I did his chart for him. So of course, if I didn't know that, I would have pulled it up and I would be more exacting today. But I think I'm kind of exacting, obviously, from the reactions with what is here. So now the other thing is, let me see, even though, all right, so being a Libra on your rising, you do concern yourself with fairness and justice and people being treated fairly. That shows wearing on your sleeve, right?
Man, listen, that is me 100%. Like, listen, it's got to be right and exact. It's got to be fair. If it's not fair, I'm coming with the justice. Like, nah, that's not right. No. We're not doing that.
Okay, so I'm reading all of this with just this limited information, knowing what the cardinal points are and what they mean. So you rise that way. You wear that part on your sleeve. And then with you, since you're a double Libra and it's also your moon, it's really deep for you. It's really accentuated. Now, as far as, see what you think of this one. As far as the people you want to associate with, whether it be a mate, whether it be a business partner or whatever, you tend more towards people who are self-initiating, has their own business, are initiators, can get stuff going, even in your life.
I would say so. Yeah, they're responsible. Yeah.
Unless you let that Capricorn in the 4th house take over and want to be in control of everything and everybody in your life. Unless you do that, what you really need is someone that is self-starting, self-initiating, not so dependent.
Yeah.
Right, because that's what the Aries represents. And in your case, that's really self. We're all supposed to be, selfful. We shouldn't be selfless. But Libras can tend to be selfless because they're so concerned about everything else being fair and right. And they like to deal with unity like that. But like I said, well, sometimes I say it's we when it might just be me, because if it has to get done, it has to get done, right?
Right.
So you're not going, wait on that. So that's what I see just topically on doing those points. Now,
I'm not gonna lie, brother. I'm a skeptic, but this right here has me like, whoa. and you see me on Facebook. You've been following me on Facebook for a little while, so you kind of sort of know my personality. Yeah. I think you spot on some of them joints right there. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
yeah. And if we get you like more in depth on your chart, like I would love to know what your South and North Node is, because like I read to you, your family generational
Yeah.
obstacle or whatever, you have a personal one. It's your soul's one. And so when you find out where your South Node and North Node is, then that tells you what you need to overcome personally on your soul baggage. Because and what you'll find out is that even if you haven't gotten there yet, you'll find that you can very easily be that way. Like for instance, right now, Capricorn being on your nadir, right, the root, you can very easily, you know what discipline and order is. You can teach that because you have that, because you've experienced. But the other part of Cancer with the nurturing, that's what you need to learn. So we all very easily slip back into where we came from and what we know, we know, we know. And that's why some people, if they don't evolve with themselves, they'll just stay kind of stuck back to what they know, that they know rather. Yeah. So that's what it'll indicate for you on your South Node. And no one may know that but you, or people who are really close to you.
Right. This brother right here, Keenan, he said moon on the ascendant makes total sense how you share your feelings and insight a lot. Because when I'm on Facebook, I share my insight, my feelings, and all that on face. So I guess that's what he's saying.
Uh, yes, that is what he's saying, because whatever is in the first house is how you present yourself, which means it's what's worn on your sleeve. Like everybody can see that. It's right there. And so what he's saying now, you go into the level of, well, how, like I just said, to know what the elements are. And then I said to know what the modalities are, like cardinal, fixed, and then there's mutable, where people are changeable. They change. They're not one who gets stuff started. They're not one who's going to be fixed, meaning they make a great supervisor. No, that's not them. They're the ones who could be behind the scene and have no problem making changes, or they mutate. That they're just easy to work with or whatever, because they'll be up front or in the back, doesn't matter, just to get the work done. And
Right.
those are all the mutable signs. But for you have fixed. In terms of these three that I know, your trinity, you have fixed and you have cardinal. So you're going to get stuff started, but you're also a great supervisor, because the fixed energy is the supervising energy. The reason they don't want to change is because, okay, how's it supposed to be? Oh, is it supposed to be like that? Then fine. Okay, that's the process. I will make sure that everything is done like that. So you find people who have that fixed energy too. They fit well into what you call supervising jobs or positions to get stuff done. So now, you know, now, so now you go into, well, what is the energy of the signs? Because these are their houses. We just talked about the modalities and the elements: fire, air, earth, water. Common sense: fire and air. Fire and water don't go together too well. I mean, that's just elementary. You see? So, but earth and water, they go together very well, because earth will receive water energy or water, figure literally, without trying to change it. Right. So fire consumes the air and earth consumes water. That's why on that astrology wheel, because it is a teaching tool. And for all you out there who have one in front of you, or seen one, or studying, you will never, ever, 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 ever find a fire sign next to an air sign for a reason. for the reason I just gave, because there would be no moderation. That's why you're not going to find it there at all. What you will find is every other sign, it will be a complementary element. In other words, um, Libra is air on your first house. So the next is Earth, right? Which is Taurus. And then the next is Gemini, which is air, right? I'm sorry, I'm looking Libra, Scorpio, and then for you, Sag, on your chart. So you would have Libra as the on the first house, and that is air. And then next to that, you're gonna have Scorpio, which is water. And then after Scorpio, you're gonna have Sagittarius. Now, those two signs over, or 60 degrees over, right? Because each pi is 30 degrees. So we're talking mathematics now, too. You're going to learn how to do mathematics if you study the science of astrology or cosmology. I'm telling you, this is part of the other reason why, they don't want you to learn it. Because, people talk about their mathematics and geometry and stuff. It's right there for you, all of it. So when you find that Libra in your first house and you find that Sagittarius on your third house, and let's talk about that for a minute, because Sagittarius is the higher learning and spirituality, and you have that in your third house, meaning that you are destined to communicate. That's why you're behind this podcast right now, because Sagittarius, in third house, is the house of communications. And on a basic way, that third house means your kin, your community, your brothers and sisters, your community, and your basic communication ability that you learn as a child, in your community. It's just basic. Maybe you never learned how to communicate even as a child, but that's what it represents. And so you have Sag there, which, by the way, of course, it's polar reflection, because your chart is switched around. Exactly. See, a perfect chart, not a perfect chart. The chart, the way is laid out to teach the lesson of 1, self; 2, possessions; 3, communications, or lack thereof; 4, home. Where is your spirit self manifested in the flesh going to be seated in that fourth house of home? Yours just happened to be Capricorn with a lot of discipline and order. And then 5, your creativity. Not just whether you have children, but whether we're talking about the creations of the mind, children of the mind, because that's the house of creation. And then it's your service to man and mankind, as 6. And then 7 is, okay, now that you got this 6 foundation, bottom, the bottom 6 signs, foundation, let's step into the social arena world, starting with Libra and who you're going to unite with. Again, not whether it's a sexual relationship, it could be a business relationship, or whatever it is, whatever friends that you hang out with, because the only thing that truly opposes you in your life are the people that you hang with. They're the thing that can oppose you the absolute most. So choose wisely, as they say, right?
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
a fact. But now you're in the social world, like that. So this is important in that respect, that you've got Sagittarius on the third house. You are definitely going to be always seeking for higher knowledge.
That's all interesting. This is all really interesting right here, man. All really interesting. I
Man,
can't. This is what I do. Knowledge, 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 knowledge.
because it's in your third house. Sagittarius, in other words, the third house is the house of communications, and it means your basic communicating abilities. That, of course, starts at home, and how you were raised and all of that. But its polarity, its polarity, its 180 is Sagittarius, which represents your highest attainment of spirituality and knowledge. You kicked off with the highest in your third house. You came up with you came in here with the arrow pointing for higher things, because that's the Sagittarius, right? The Sagittarian, half man, half beast. And that's because, that's who we are. I mean, that's what we are here to attain, is to get rid of the lower self
Right.
and attain to our higher self. And it's in the ninth house, because that nine means ending. And then it'll go to Capricorn, which is the midheaven in its proper place, which means did you pass the test? Because it's very disciplined and order. Discipline and order is a necessary. People don't look at like disciple discipline. They just think, oh, that's a religious Bible thing. No, I mean, look at the words, which we're going to get into in a minute when we talk about cosmology, astrology. But so now, did you make it? How are you coming up to Chronos, to Father Time? Are you going to get past the reigns of Saturn with your bull? Nope, not with your bull. You're not. You're going to have to get it right, or those rings kick you back, and you learn your lessons. That's just the way. That's what the teaching tool is really about. So again, we have elements, we have the modalities, meaning how those elements move. They're either fixed, they're initiating, starting stuff, they're fixed, or they're mutating out. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's how that works. That's elementary. You can't escape the elementary of it, the foundation. So now it's like, all right, well, we got some characters or some energy, and they're represented by each sign. The Aries, the Taurus, the Gemini, like that. And these are just depictions for a child to learn, get an idea of what those energies are, or what the possibilities of the characteristics of man is on this plane. Because we spirit man manifested in the flesh.
Got you.
So yeah, it's a science, but it's a science, but the other thing with you, let me see, Sagittarius, and then you would have Scorpio. Did I say Sagittarius was there? Yeah. Libra, Scorpio, Sag. I mean, you just reverse everything on your chart. So Pisces. Okay, let me add this. Let me add this before we go, because it's about you. All right. So your service to man and mankind, because that's what Virgo represents. It also represents your health. Because if you don't have good health, you ain't serving nobody, including yourself, right? Will be, and I got this feeling you walking into it in your older age now, whatever that is. I just got this feeling, correct me if I'm wrong, will be dealing with spirituality, or what people want to call religion. You question that all the time. I mean, we all do, but I just had this feeling that you recently are making some transformation yourself. And I'm going to tell you why I got that feeling, because I saw a little clip of you and you were in a car, and it sounded like to me, do you know what I'm talking about? And you're saying, well, whatever it is, it just is. It sounded like to me you were taking a transformation, personal transformation.
For right now, I'm definitely taking a personal transformation.
Yeah, I recently saw it. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. You're being forced to do that because Pisces is in your sixth house. Now, Pisces is the ultimate spiritual house. Sagittarius is your heights that you can reach and always attaining for, but Pisces is the beginning and the end. And so that's why you're feeling what you're feeling. Because I felt that when I read it, I was like, wow, he just asked me to come back on the show, and then something came across. You didn't send it to me, and I felt like he's going through a transformation himself. So now, if I'm right, and you're saying I am, this is what I'm just reading right now while we're sitting here on this paper. Pisces is in your sixth house. Your sixth house is your service to man and mankind. Meaning what? See, that's an earth sign. That's an earth sign. It's the second earth sign, because the first earth sign is Taurus, and it's about your possessions. But Virgo says, all right, well, how are we going to get those possessions? So that's why they all say that's the house of your job. That's why they say it. That's the house of your job. No, it's really a house of your service to man and mankind. So that equates to people that's the job I'm going to do. So for you, it is this transformation is because you're feeling a strong pull regarding spirituality and why are we here and the whole mystery of life, whatever it is that you're going through personally, is because you got to bring that spirituality into your work.
I always knew that though.
See?
Yeah. I always
But
knew that. That's why I'm doing, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Yeah.
all right. Well, I appreciate and I really appreciate you inviting me to be a part of Divine Law Governs All events. Because what I just told you is what I said I saw in that clip that you had sent. But so now it's right. So I saw that. But now I'm looking at your chart and I really see it. So this is what's happening for you. This is why that's happening for you.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And then all right, we got it almost there. That's the end, right? All right. So Aries, yeah, you need a mate that is strong, that is sure about what they want to do, and is self starter themselves. That's what you need.
Okay.
That's how I'm gonna have to go down. So don't try to suppress any of that. That's good. And you will create possessions and leave something as a legacy. Hmm. You will. And then your wow, you got that Gemini in the ninth house. All right. So I don't know anything about your education. I don't know nothing about that at all personally. I get the sense that you may have had some higher learning college or
Yep.
okay. But guess what? You got a duality. So this transformation that you're doing right now is because in your house of education or higher knowledge, there's a duality. So you're gonna end up having two different types of you. You probably going through that now. I don't know. It's like, wait a minute, I thought I was. It's like most people. I thought I was supposed to go down this road and get that degree and this and that, and I'm gonna be good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a duality clearly, and you probably are seeing it now.
Oh, I've been seeing that all my life. I've been seeing that all my life. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I like, I wanted to do like, of course school did that. And but now I'm like, should I go back to school or should I just focus on self-study or the teachings that I'm most passionate about, which is 5% more science and NOI and all of these teachings. All the people that I have on this platform is just a reflection of what goes on in my mind, like things that I want to know more about. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
great. That's great that you're able to, actually express art through communication. That's heavy. That's a good one, especially now because the what people thought was the way to go and the pie in the sky. None of that. All of that is falling. Let's face it. All of that is falling down in front of most people today. And the reason is that you have to follow, right? As you say, you have done the dictates of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And the construct may have had it so that that's not what you've got to do this and you've got to do it that way. So your yellow brick road is your yellow brick road. My yellow brick road is my yellow brick road. What people seem to want a lot, if I can put it this way, is that they want you have to go down your own yellow brick road. There's lions and tigers and bears, oh my, to find the truth for you, right? Because we believe a lot, but you have to go from belief to knowing. You just got to graduate from belief to knowing. So what people want to do is they want you to pick them up and carry them down their yellow brick road. It can't be done.
Right.
It can't be done. And then people talk about, what do I do? Well, I think in the Biblios Heliotek, the Bible, whatever, which by the way, they took 66 books of what was already written. So I'm just saying, because a lot of people follow that. It says the table is prepared for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know? You talk to people and they say, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. Oh, I tried that, but I don't like that. Well, that's because you're not at the table that's prepared for you, because the table that is prepared for you, you're going to like everything on it. Even the experiences or the trials and the tribulations, but you're going to endure and you're going to like what's on that table for you.
Yeah.
So back to astrology and cosmology. They
Mm-hmm.
turned you away from it to keep you from knowing thyself, and have the nerve to say in all the disciplines, man, know thyself. So I am that I am. And that's one of the ways to find out, because like even like what we're sharing here, which is actually limited on your chart, but still accurate, because it's accurate. It's a science. It's a science. It's accurate.
Now I want to go into now we only have an hour, right? So
All right.
yeah, but I don't know if you want to do 2 hours next time, if you come back up or whatever like that. Because I had another brother, he was like, give me 2 hours, give me 2 hours. So I don't know how you would want to do that.
Why
But
he wanted 2 hours for astrology?
no, he wanted 2 hours to teach something else. And then I got another brother, he wants to do 2 hours to teach something else. So I don't know if the hour slot.
Let me put it to you like this. Every Wednesday at 7:30, that's where my 2 hour time is for teaching and sharing information.
Got you.
It really is. Every week I put together some presentment, visual, whatever like that, and time into it. So that's what I do, and everybody can come to that class if they wish to. It's a civics, and then let me get this out the way now. And then we have every first Sunday of the month, Sister J. Bay does a study out of the Circle 7 Quran, right? 1 o'clock. And then every third Sunday, I do a Sister Standing on Law presentment. That's once a month. And then Sister Karima Bay does what's called Enlightened Asiatic every third Monday. But every Wednesday, we're there. I do class. So I'm good with the hour and a half, whatever it is. I maybe some of the people will have questions or whatever like that, because I wasn't exactly, what I'm sharing now is like, I wasn't exactly prepared. I wish I had known I had done your chart. I definitely would have been prepared to do it. So I would like to come. I really want to know what your South and North Node is and see what you say about that and how accurate that is. So you being a non-believer, let me just, or skeptical, you said.
Yeah.
If you know anything, look, so I don't know what your next question is, but I'm prepared to try to break down let me just say this. So as far as knowing your astrology, your chart, your navigating chart upon this piece, right? It helps you to navigate. But what you also get out of it for humanity, it really helps you to understand other people and why they may do what they do, so that you're not offended so much. Personally, it gets you to say to yourself, and this is I think the most important for anyone, because we all seek validation and so on like that, and we all have these thoughts in our head that this construct has not made it so that you would create, that you would go ahead and see that through, because you got to do it like this in the box, for control. So the thing is that it would teach you and show you there's nothing wrong with me. That's what you would say to yourself. I know now why I do that. So now, like anything, if there is a problem or a situation, you have to know the components of it to fix it or to change it or whatever. So even with self, you have to know yourself, right? And you can say, hey, I get why I do that. Now, maybe it's something that this chart has that you do that you ought not be doing. Why? Because it's what you're here for, to learn how not to do, because you did it before. And there is no really before, because it's a continuum. But just for the sake of wording, you've done it before. You're back here to learn that lesson.
I
Now,
like how you put that. I like how you put that. It's a lot to unpack there. Before we continue, I just want to make an acknowledge Nicholas Bay. Thank you for the $5. Islam brother Ron, and gratitude, Ras Mariah Bay. Love and appreciate everything you have done and continue to do. Peace to you,
Oh,
brother.
I
Peace
see.
to you.
All right. Thank you. I say the same. Kudos. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, we got about 20 minutes. So if you can break down astrology versus cosmology. Now, before we go into that, right, I have a
Uh-huh.
question.
Sure.
Astrology, from what I've learned over the years, I had a teacher in college who was just so opposed to astrology and and crystals and everything. She used to go in on those things. She's like what we call like a Western thinker. I come from like a massage therapy, physical therapy background. So, it's all about muscle tissue results and
Mhm,
blood and, the science. So
mhm.
she used to go crazy on it. And so this would be a question from her, right? And myself. Astrology is not supported is not supported by controlled scientific studies. Why why should it be considered credible?
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, let me get you a little story. Cosmogony and the effects of cosmogony, which is an ancient word. I'm gonna say it's ancient to make a comparison here. And the effects of anything is the ologies, right? So cosmology. Then you have astronomy that they use today, and they say that's scientific, right? Don't they
Mhm.
say astronomy is science? All
Yeah.
right, they'll say right that astronomy is scientific, but not the effects. There's no effects on the people at all. Now these planets are moving around and they got all this energy and stuff. So let us get to thinking. The moon is a planetary body. And when it is at its fullness, whether it's a new moon ready to be filled because it's moved away from the sun, the light, or whether it's a full moon filled with light and it's 8 phases. And when it shows as full, does it pull the tides of the oceans on the earth?
Sure it does.
Oh, all right. How much water? What, 75, 80? I keep hearing it change.
Yeah.
Percent
Yeah. Yep.
we're made up of water.
Yeah.
And so we are what? Either vain as heck or ignorant as heck to even think for a second that it doesn't affect you. That's like ludicrous, right?
Hmm.
Now, the other unseen energies, because it's the unseen that creates the seen, however you want to go into that, they all have planetary energy. So cosmogony would be more of the entire universe because there's other probably universes and things that we don't see, right? And
Hmm.
planetary bodies that are coming into play because they take a while to get to do their cycle. There's probably planetary bodies we haven't seen. For an example, when the modern studies of astrology, and even a little bit less behind modern, because I'll tell you a story about the modern, they thought that Venus, which is the mother planet, the feminine energy, and the polarity is Mars, which is the masculine energy. They thought that Venus was two different planets. You know why? Because they didn't know enough to know that she rises in the morning. She's the morning star and herald and at night, but only at night because she's the last to go to bed. Let me just put it that way. She's the last. She rises in the morning, puts the house together, all that, whatever the children, whatever she got to do, go to work, whatever. And then she's the last to go to as far as her shining. They thought her shining in the sky that they were two different planets from their ignorance.
Mm.
I'll give you another one. Early 1900s, I think it's 1932, when they discovered in their modern astronomy studies that the planet Pluto even existed. Didn't even know it existed.
Mm.
See, this is why we have to get to thinking. So, how I see about cosmogony, that word, and cosmology, think this. We're talking about as above, so below. We're talking about the fact that everybody says they praying to the God above or whatever like that, without knowing that the God above is you standing with your feet flat on this earth, and the above is your mind, a companion to your spirit, right? So, but nonetheless, they looking up all the time, looking up all the time. And so they're praying to the air, the soundless sound, which is thought. So, what happens if you and I are able to transmit a thought and receive a thought at the same time? We can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do that, right? Whether we recognize it or not. Because you're always thinking in your head. You may not be talking to yourself, but you're talking to yourself. Yes, you are. Who else would you be talking to but yourself in your head? So
Right.
you're able to transmit a thought and receive a thought. Yeah, I prayed to God and he gave me the answer. Whatever it is you're thinking, or to yourself. That means you have to have a transmitter. You have to have you are the transmitter, but you have to have an antenna. You're the transmitter because you can transmit and receive at the same time. Nobody argues about that. But no one thinks about, well, what's my antenna? Because you got to have one. Your antenna is made of silicone, grows out of your hair in a spiral fashion. It's your hair is your antenna. So this is why they call the science of you going to cosmology school to fix people's hair is called cosmetology. That's where that comes from. It's not a play on words. So if we take you away from those truths and get you to only talk about astronomy, which is more like the stars, and like they like trying to pinpoint it to the limitations that they have in studying, because they just found Pluto, right? So, and they thought Venus was 2 planets. So if we can take you away from the word cosmology, which is what it is, then you will not think, and you won't give any thought to what I just said about why the science of treating of the hair is called cosmos. To me, it's called cosmetology. Oh, you say, oh no, Ras, that's just a play on words. It is not. Now, let me tell you why the science of barbering, which is usually for men's hair, is called tonsorialist. Tonsorialist means tune, so like in tune, tonsorialist. Because the same thing applies. And the tone means your diatonic tones the vibrations that you send out. But they call it a tonsorialist because it's the same as hair. Both of them are dealing with hair, because it's about your tone or your tuning in. So they said, well, we're going to get rid of that word too. So now here we are talking about, well, what's the difference? And it's all good. Essentially, I would say there is no difference. It's just a matter of using words. But narrowing it a little, I'd say cosmogony. They don't say cosmogony. They just talk about the effects of cosmogony, because astronomy is where the planets are. The heavenly bodies are located. Where are they right now? Because they move a lot, right? That's astronomy, and they call that science. But the effects of them is called astrology. So cosmogony is also more universal, where all the planets are, where everything is, all the bodies, and the effects is called cosmology. So in that respect, they are the same. But when you come down to this construct again, I will say this. I said it already, that when they bag, tag, name, and claim everything, right? You can go to school to learn astrology, but when you get that certificate, you can't talk about certain things.
Mm.
And then if you do, you'll get fined. So I was thinking, I'm going to go to this school just to see what they say. but I'm never going to get the certificate. I'm not going to sign up for the certificate and just to see. And I also know some people who have gone through all the schools that they have, and they're like, wow, science of the universe is science of the universe. They're not teaching it that way. So, and let me just say this, and then we can go. I mean, so I looked up once when you told me, like I really this morning, I read something real quick. Um, and this is from a person who is studying for to be an astrophysicist. I think they've been studying for 5 years, and name is Anshuman Acharya, a former visiting master student at Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. So the difference between astrology, astronomy, cosmology. Now, just the first couple lines here. Well, he says, first things first, do not compare astrology, and then parentheses, as it stands presently. See, that's the kind of reading that it turns the hairs up on us, because like as it stands presently. That means what people think they understand that it is right now. But he says it with actual sciences like astronomy and cosmology. That doesn't even make sense. So how's astronomy science and cosmology is science too? And on another one, they're calling cosmogony or cosmology science, but it's the mother of the astrology. And you know, they like to leave mother out all the time. You put mother back in there, you'll be good, and you'll have a better understanding of these things. And now the churches, of course, they don't want you to do it, but yet in their book, they say this is the book of what is, what was, and what's to come. A book of Ezekiel is in there. That's nothing but the astrology wheel. So there's a lot of contradictions and hypocrisies there, you know. And the Circle 7, first chapter, says, let the solar stations be your guide, and they will lead you to victory. Like, doesn't that... the solar station, that's the sun, right? But then you might go to some people who actually call themselves staunch Moors in the temple. Oh, we don't teach no astrology here. It's like, it's crazy. It's ludicrous. So
now before we cut out this brother, creator of the boundless universe, Islam. First of all, thank you for the $7. I really appreciate it. Any donation, I don't care if it's 2 cents, we will appreciate it. Okay. Islam, are there any supporting materials that help understand the dynamics of reading charts?
yes. You want to know what it is? The wheel, the circle itself. This is the circle of life. The circle. Cut it into, put a cross in it. That's the master seal, the glyph for the earth. Then put the others in it. Knowing, here is the supportive that he was asking, that it can help. Know the elements first. Know the modalities, how they move. Then know the astrology signs, because they also have their characteristics. So you're a Scorpion. Scorpion rules a fixed house. Thereby, Scorpions are fixed. You're a Scorpion. Scorpion's element is water. But there's 3 types of water. It's the initiating moving water. It's the supervising still water. And then there's the mutating water. So the other 2 signs take that. You know, each sign there's 3. Out of 12, there's 3 modalities. Out of 12, there's 4 different elements. So the 3 and the 4 is what? 7. It's the circle 7. You take 3 times 4, it's 12. I mean, there's signs everywhere about how this is right and exact. And then, and lastly, I got to say this. If I were to say to you, this is 101. When I say 101, I don't mean necessarily just 101, the 101s, but it is questioned in there. But if I were to say to you, how many days of a week there are? I think you're going to like this one, Ron. How many days are there in a week, Ron?
7.
7. All right. How many days in a month?
30,
Give or take. Sometimes it's 30,
31.
31, except for February is 28, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many days in a year?
52.
Days, not
50.
weeks.
Oh, 365 days.
Okay, fine. Now, for the 7 days that you just said that are in the week, you can name them, right?
Yes.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So can you name the days that are in the month?
The days that are in the month.
Yes.
Uh, yeah.
You can. How
Oh,
about 365 days in a year?
okay.
All right, hear me out. So that's because that there's only 7 days. Now, let me give proof on that and then I'll close that. So you have a so-called Spanish or Spanish friend that speaks so-called Latin or what they call Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them to name you in Spanish, so-called Spanish, what how they say Sunday, how they say Monday, how they say Tuesday,
Oh
Wednesday, and
yeah,
Thursday,
yeah,
Friday.
yeah. All of the planets. So
Oh my,
right.
oh
So
my. And we
Monday
are
is Moon. Tuesday is Mars. Wednesday is Mercury. Thursday is Jupiter. Friday is Venus. Saturday is Saturn. Sunday is the Sun.
so Monday is the moon.
Yep.
In Spanish, they call Monday Luna. You're right.
Right.
Tuesday is Mars. In Spanish, they call Tuesday Martes. Wednesday is Mercury. In Spanish, they call Wednesday Miércoles. Thursday is Jupiter, but it's a silent J. They call it Nuevo, or
Mhm.
they also call it Thor and Hermes. Some, they're all the same. And then Friday is Viernes, which is Venus. And then Saturday is Sabado,
Right.
which is Saturn. And then Sunday, they'll say, oh, we say Sunday, Domingo, because it's the dominion of the sun, S-U-N sun.
Mm.
You see? You see? So
Yeah.
now that right there ought be some affirmation to our people that this is real, that astrologics, cosmology, astronomy, astrology is real as the science that it is and not what they say it is. So if we don't get this information out and recognize and acknowledge it, we'll get further and further away from reference points on it.
Mhm.
This is the problem. So we can't name 7 days in a month. We can name 7 days of the week. We can't name 7 days of the month. We can't name the 365 days of the year. This is why it's just 7. And it keeps repeating itself. And it's quarters. 7, 7, 7, 7. So it's really only 28-day cycle, same as a woman's menstrual cycle, by the way. But
Mhm.
they added these extra days and we're like, oh, okay, well, and then we can't do the math correctly, right?
Mhm.
So you might be able to name 365 angles of light, not angels, because angels are angles, 365 angles of light, but you're not going to name the days other than, they got some names for that, Gabrielle, all of that, right? With that study. But we will use the 7 days of the week and not realize that it just keeps rotating round and round and round. So this is why it says, how many days? 7. How many days in a week? 7. How
7.
many days in a month? 7. How many days in a year? 7. And people don't get it. I trust you get that now.
Yes. 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 For
It's
sure.
real. It's real talk. Circle 7 for real. That's all it is 7, cycle of 7 going over and over again.
Indeed. On that note, thank you for coming out this evening. Glad to have you back. Would love to have you back again. We
Yeah.
will definitely continue to build. If you give them your social medias and everything, they can every place they can find you.
That's another thing. All right. RV Bay go to class. Yeah. At gmail.com. But I just opened up the RV Bay online.com. It's not, I just transferred over. Now, RV Bay Publications, I'm just cleaning up. It will remain an archive. doing that now. But the actual website for the expanded site of RV Bay Publications, it's an expanded site. It's called RV Bay Online. And give me just a couple of days. We just changed it over. You won't have, you can do any exchanges financially, especially on that site, because the old one is too old. And he says it's not secure, but believe me, it is secure because everything goes over PayPal on that. But anyway, RV Bay go to class at gmail.com. Just use that for now, because it's going to be go to class at rvbayonline.com. But RV Bay go to class at gmail.com is what you should use. And you might want to join some of our civic classes. And I will say this, I am thinking about starting or doing again another astrology class. I really am, because a lot of people are asking. And so we've been thinking about that. I'll let you know when. I look forward to coming back on this class. We got to talk. I don't know if it's the 4th or the 1st Monday. Which one is it?
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I'm thinking the 1st. I'm thinking the 1st Monday.
Just as long as it's not the 3rd Monday. I have the Enlightened Asiatic with Sister Karima Bay from our itinerary. That's on the 3rd. Any other Monday, I'm good with it.
All right. So the 1st Monday, you heard it here. See you in January.
Hey, so happy winter solstice for everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get your chart. I'm pulling your chart out. I'm going to give you a connect. I am.
Thank you for coming out this evening. Thanks to all the viewers. We are out of here. We got a podcast with Aline Bay in a few minutes.
All right.
And we are out. Peace.
All right.